What's going on, y'all? It's your boy TJ back with another video. For today's video, I'll be telling y'all my thoughts on Gervonta Tank Davis versus Hector Garcia. Now, like I always say, y'all, without further ado, I'm just jump right into it. So, Gervonta Davis versus Hector Garcia. Okay, all in all, I thought it was a pretty good fight, pretty decent fight. Okay, now I don't think it was, one of the best fights I've watched from Tank. You know what I'm saying? But it was a pretty good one. It was a pretty good one. Okay, it definitely was. From the start of the fight, the first few rounds, both fighters were kind of easing into things. They started off pretty slow, and just getting into the rhythm of the first couple of rounds. Then, about the third and fourth rounds, they started to turn it up a little bit. And the later rounds, towards like the fifth, sixth, and seventh round, and of course, the eighth round is when it really started to, you really start to see the fight elevate to its highest point. And they really started to go at each other. Now, I definitely think Hector Garcia is a pretty good fighter. I think he's better than what people have him cracked up to be. Okay, I know the things that Devin Haney said about him and stuff like that, how he kicked him out of his sparring session, and Garcia is not that bad of a fighter. I give him a lot of credit. Okay, I definitely give Garcia a lot of credit for stepping in there, okay, and giving Tank a pretty decent fight there. Okay, I mean, from what I saw during this fight, he definitely landed some pretty good shots on Tank. Okay, I mean, from what I had saw, Tank took some shots. He definitely did. He took some pretty big shots there. But see, that's the thing about him. What makes him a great fighter as well too. Okay, it's not just his skill, his quickness, his powers, what everybody talks about. Tank is able to withstand some pain for him to able to get through and win the fight. That's also what makes him a special fighter, because he's willing to go and get to the inside, take some risky shots, and land the risky shots too as well. And he definitely hit a couple. Okay, it was a pretty solid fight. It was pretty even. Garcia took a few rounds, Davis won a few rounds, and of course, we all see how it ended right at the end. And I think what really messed Garcia up in the later rounds is I think he underestimated Tank's left hand. Okay, that left hook, man, is something serious, especially if Tank can get that overhand, get that left hand and strike an overhand right to the top of the head. It's a wrap. It's usually a wrap. Okay, and Tank, he did a great job with mixing up his combos. You know what I'm saying? Going to the head and going to the body. He always does a fantastic job of doing that. And that's the reason why he's also able to win so many fights. He's able to mix up his combos so greatly, to the point where it's so unpredictable where he's going to go and where he's going to hit you next. And like I said, man, he's one of those guys too that's just like extremely patient. Extremely patient. Like I said, he'll trick the fighters into thinking like, yeah, I'm gonna just let you hit me and knock me out, but he's just really eating those for a little while. Like he's gonna eat a couple of punches, and then after that he's gonna come hard at you. He's gonna pretty much, his purpose of doing that is to tire them out. Like, yeah, like let me let him get all his his hits in, and now it's my turn later on down the line. And that's exactly what happened in this fight, because in the 8th round, you know, Hector Garcia took some pretty hard shots to the face, man. Some pretty hard shots there. There was one where, kind of late in the 8th round, where he almost just fell to the canvas and just did not want to keep fighting anymore. But, you know, he got up, he finished off the round. Then after that, his team just called off the fight because he couldn't see. They said he was a little blind and couldn't see. And when you hit somebody that hard, you hit the hell out of him for someone not to be able to see for a little while like that. Okay, during that, you know, and they called it a TKO. So, I mean, he gets another knockout under his belt. Tank gets another knockout under his belt. You know, and the one thing I can say is, I just wish that, you know, during the earlier rounds, they would have just turned it up just a little bit more. But, you know, all in all, I'm happy on how the fight went. And it was also pretty crazy to me how there was a fight within the fight, actually. Because going into, I want to say, the 7th round, okay, early in the 7th round, you could see out in the stands, I think it was Meek Mill and another fighter got into an altercation. The refs kind of stopped the fight for a little bit, paused it. Gervonta Davis was kind of, you know, wondering what was going on. Hector Garcia was wondering what was going on too as well. And that caused some controversy too. You know, and it became a distraction to the point where, you know, they had to get those people out of there and so they can continue on with the fight. Now, also, what was the interesting thing to me was, you know, I've seen some of the comments, things people were saying about this fight. They were saying that this was a rigged fight, and part of it was a distraction. That whole altercation in the crowd was a distraction for Tank to catch his breath because he was getting beat. Now, the thing that I will say about this is that I don't think it was a distraction at all. I don't think it was rigged. I don't think, no. Okay, yeah, Tank lost a couple rounds. But if y'all listen to what I was saying before, is that's the type of fighter that he is. Like, he's gonna lose a couple rounds. Like, he's willing to lose a couple rounds for him to be patient enough for him to knock his opponent out. That's the whole point of him losing a couple rounds, is for him to tire his opponent out. Like, he's tiring his opponent out without even really doing too much. Like, he's not taking like a whole lot of damage. Like, he's got a strong jaw, body structure. So I don't think that was a distraction at all, because if you noticed, both fighters are engaged in what was going on in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So if it was so-called a distraction for both of them to sit there and catch their breath and all this and that, I don't think that was true. Okay? And it's not like Tank or Garcia sat there and said, all right, time out. Nah, like, the refs did that. For them to, you know, get everybody out so everybody could sit there and enjoy the rest of the fight. You know what I'm saying? But all in all, man, I think it was a pretty solid fight for the most part. You know what I'm saying? I was that type of person watching this fight, like, man, I'm ready for that huge knockout from Tank. You know what I'm saying? Like he did Rolly, like he did Barrios, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he always usually does. But I'm going to still take this fight. I'm going to still take it. You know what I'm saying? I definitely enjoyed watching it. You know? And like I said before, y'all, I give a lot of credit to Hector Garcia, man. He's a pretty good fighter. Okay, I give him a lot of respect. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he was definitely getting his shots in. Okay, because there's a few times where I seen him just like he cracked Tank for a few times. You know what I'm saying? He landed a couple of good left hands, a couple good shots to the body. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, and he does a good job with mixing up his combos as well too. So I mean, and Hector Garcia going into this fight actually had a slight advantage over Tank as far as the height advantage. Garcia is about 5'9". Okay, Tank is all 5'5.5". All right, and especially Garcia had that reach over him too. Garcia's got about a 74-inch reach. So I mean, that's a huge advantage going into a fight like this. But ultimately, it came down to the power. Just the power at the end is what ultimately ended the fight. And like I said, man, a lot of people underestimate this man's power and what he can do with it. Just because he's 5'5.5" does not mean that he's not strong. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I enjoyed the fight. I hope y'all did too, because it was a very good fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though I didn't think it was, Tank's best fight. Because like I said, I was that fan looking for that straight knockout. I wanted to see him put Hector Garcia on the canvas. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I still enjoyed it. I hope y'all did too. Leave your thoughts, comments below. And I will catch y'all next time. Peace.